Well, don't let the term silent movie fool you. Back in the day, films had plenty of sound.
Yeah, most of it came from organists playing right along with the movie. And ciLiving's Ryan Berth met a man who's bringing kind of this lost art back.
I did. Well, Mark Gifford is really a world-renowned organist. He lives in Springfield, but was invited to the Virginia Theater recently for something really, really neat. He was invited to come and play along with the 1926 classic, The General. And when you hear him play, you're going to understand why he jumped at that chance. It's 2 hours till curtain's up, and the Virginia Theater is already filling with the same sounds it did 90 years ago, as Mark Gifford gets ready for his debut performance.
That combination of delight and fear. The fear that I'll forget something, because you have to memorize the whole movie. You don't get a script. You have to watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it and memorize the movie.
As the showing of the Buster Keaton classic The General begins, it's time for Gifford to start creating, much like the organists of the early 20th century did before him.
When silent movies came out, there had to be something that facilitated what was going on screen. Back then, that would have either been a live orchestra's job, or it would have been the organist's job to put in all the sound effects. When somebody falls, when somebody gets hit with a board, is there a sound effect? What kind of things you do? And so the organist's job was to either follow a score if they were given it, and sometimes you were, but most of the times you weren't, or watch the movie, figure it out, and put in the effects where you can. It fuels my creative muse. It's just so much fun. There are certain things that are standard, and then everything else is, what do you like? What do you want to do? How does the movie speak to you?
While Gifford's been accompanying silent films since the early 80s, each one is a new adventure and a new chance to create.
It's that moment where you're let go to be the musician you want to be. It's that moment where, oh, in church you'd go, oh, if I could have thrown in a rim shot there, which would be completely inappropriate. Here, it's absolutely what's expected. The atmosphere, the organ being in its original room, what it was designed for, what the building was designed for, recreating that as it would have been back then is just so much fun. You get a chance to make history come alive again.
Now, Mark says that since, unfortunately, there are now fewer and fewer people alive who remember the actual silent film era, he says it's really important to be able to bring a new audience to something he considers a definite privilege to be able to do. So hopes to share it with as many people as he can, and sounds so cool to hear it in person. Hey. Camera doesn't quite do it justice, but to actually be there at the Virginia and hearing it, it's incredible.
And in that kind of setting, too.
Oh, yeah.
That would have played at that time and
definitely
done all of that. You know, it's so cool when you consider, like, when you see silent movies, if you're watching one on YouTube or you're Netflixing it or whatever, like, it's not the same because it doesn't have that track or the experience of watching it live with other people who are seeing it the same way.
Whole different thing. Absolutely. Really cool to check out.
Okay, we got to get